Leeds United have an absolutely crucial championship running coming up, so I'm going to take a quick look at that in this video alongside discussing a new youth academy director and why you should always check your sources as a news organisation. That one is quite interesting and I'm going to leave it to the end, so hopefully you can join me for that. But first, subscribe. Cheers. Not really going to add to that. Anyway, diving into it, Leeds United have signed a new academy director and it's a fairly major bit of staffing. He's a man called Martin Diggle, who was signed from Liverpool, and as fun as his name is, he's got a very similarly fun job and a fun job history. He was previously their head of coach development, which means that he basically taught their coaches how to be coaches, both for the senior squad and for the youth squad, which means that he would help them get like UEFA certifications, guide them through how to become a better coach in general. And I'll be honest, this is pretty huge for us. It's very, very promising because if you take a look at Liverpool's academy right now and what it's pumping out, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Connor Bradley, the new right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold came through the academy there. There's a hell of a lot of talent that comes from Liverpool. And Martin Diggle played a big part in building the coaching structure that led to that talent being able to come through. And if he's able to do that at Leeds, where I'll be honest, Leeds have, I would say, a little bit more potential in terms of an academy because there aren't that many challenging ones across all of West Yorkshire, whereas Liverpool have pressure coming from the Manchester clubs. It's looking pretty good. And it also continues the professionalisation of the boardroom. It means that we are getting a more structured, like back office sort of look at the moment, whereas previously it was Radrat Zani, Orta Kinnear, and then something happened underneath them. The fact that we're now learning there's a little bit more of a structure there under the 49ers is very good, because they have learned from building a side in the 49ers that are able to go to Super Bowl after Super Bowl and compete every single time, and gone, we'll make some slight adjustments as we go. And we will improve the structure at Leeds United, and that will build a platform for success. Plus, I think it's just useful to see the youth structures get a little bit of attention. I quite like that. It's very good. Anyway, diving into the remaining fixture breakdown, the run-in for the top of the championship will be absolutely colossal. So I had a look at every single one of the top four's remaining fixtures, and I sort of ranked where the average opponent is for each of these matches. But I also took a little bit more of a note, and I'm going to have to find where it is in my notebook here, of the home and away fixtures for each one, and roughly how difficult the home fixtures are, how difficult the away fixtures are, and establish sort of like what it means going forward. So Leicester City was the first side I looked at, and their average opponent is in 11th place in the league, which is average, literally the average. I guess 12 and a bit is technically the average, but 11th place being the average opponent is sort of your standard running. Not too bad for Leicester. They don't have that many challenges, and their home and away opponents don't vary too much. They face good sides home, they face bad sides home. Good sides away, bad sides away. Leeds is where it gets a little bit interesting. Our average opponent is 13th place, which is a lot better than the situation Leicester are in. But then I broke it down between home and away. And having a look at that, I think we're in a very, very good spot. We do have the hardest home run. On average, the sides that we'll face at home are 10th place in the league, and that includes Southampton, that includes Leicester, that includes... I'm going to have a very quick look at the championship table, because like an idiot, I've not actually listed what the team names are. I've just listed where they are in the league. Who's 6th? Hull City, for example, is another one. It's not the simplest of run-ins for us, I think. We'll have a lot of challenges ahead of us, but they are stuff that we can quite simply deal with if we're intelligent enough about it, because we've been doing pretty well at home so far this season anyway. We've dealt with significant threats at home, and away, I think we're in a good spot because we've got the easiest away run of any of the top four sides at the moment. And since we've learned to put these teams away, and away from home, they have to come at us a little bit more, I think we'll be in a really good position to take advantage of that and get as many points as we can. Southampton are a difficult one to talk about because their average opponent is 11th, which puts them roughly in the same position as Leicester, but they have a much bigger challenge in front of them. They need to face us, they need to face Leicester, they need to face Ipswich, they need to face Coventry. That's not a good position for them to be in, especially when they also have the likes of Preston to play against, and then when it comes to a lot of the other teams they're against, it's sides that are in the relegation scrap, which means that they're also going to be fighting for their lives. I think this is a lot more difficult for Southampton than we would give them credit for. And I do like giving Southampton credit, but when they have to face all of the 3 other teams that are in the discussion, there's a lot of scope for them to drop points here. And the teams that they're facing that are lower in the league have something to fight for. I don't think this is going to be an easy run-in for Southampton, and that gives me a little bit of confidence. And when it comes to Ipswich, their run-in just looks a little bit boring. It's very... I'll run through it. 15th, 17th, 12th, 14th, 23rd, 16th, 4th, 8th, 11th, 13th, 7th, 6th, 20th. That's sort of bland. That's very championshipy. I am looking forward to the fact that their final 3 games are Coventry, Hull, Huddersfield. That could provide a lot of tripping room because Hull and Coventry are likely to be pushing for the playoffs. Huddersfield are going to be fighting for their lives against relegation. I genuinely think that run could be difficult for Ipswich. I did take a bit of a deeper look at Leeds United's run as well, and we do have a very difficult spot in here in which we have to play against, let's have a quick look, Hull, then Coventry, and I'll be 1 second, I need to double check something because I think I've written something down wrong. No, I've not. I just can't read. Sunderland. So Hull, Coventry, Sunderland is a difficult run for us to get, but I feel like if we get through that, we're going to look pretty good. And yeah, I'm optimistic. But whilst everything I've just said has been accurate, you've taken it at face value because I'm in a position of authority and yeah, it's something that you listen to. But when it comes to reading news online, this is something that I learned this morning when I was doing my research for this video. Always read beyond the headline. That's absolutely colossal. There were reports of Leeds United having an interest in a winger called Kerem Aktürkoğlu, I think. I'm not going to dive into that because I'm not very good at my Turkish pronunciations, but there was conversation around how Leeds United had apparently had an interest in him in winter. He ended up wanting to stay, but Leeds United could reignite that interest in the summer because he now no longer wants to stay at his club. But there is one slight issue. That club is Galatasaray. Now, Leeds fans among us will know why that is an immediate issue, and in my opinion, that immediately kills the move, at least from the perspective of fans, because of the link with a club that everyone just hates. Every single Leeds fan is going to turn against this guy because that link with Galatasaray is an absolute killer. And it makes me think that whoever reported this either doesn't know the club, doesn't know the story, or doesn't care enough and has just reported what they've heard. And it makes me think that we always need to learn the full story when we are reading into stuff and reporting transfer interest. So what I like to do is I like to read from multiple sources, make sure that there's various bits of corroboration going on. And whilst this came from an initially Turkish source, it's been picked up by the English media, and a lot of places have just run with it. But that's sort of nonsense and not going to work, because anyone inside Leeds United knows that we are not going to sign a Galatasaray player and it will not go well for anyone. But ultimately, I think that's a lesson in make sure you know your sources, make sure that the people that you listen to know their sources, and yeah, pay attention to the right people, I guess. So ultimately, I want to know what you think, both on the new academy signing, on the Galatasaray thing, and importantly, on the fixture running. Where do you think Leeds United will come in the season? Like the video if you enjoyed it at any point. Comment down below if you have any specific thoughts, and subscribe. I will see you later.